So like we're gonna just do like this. And when I introduce to you the next comedian, we're gonna go faster and faster and faster. So everybody, welcome on stage, Socrates! Woo!
Thank you so much. Keep it going for Nicole. Woo! Hey, how y'all doing down there? This is a strong microphone. Can't claim you can't hear me at the very least. So I'm another Amsterdammer. I took the little train ride up here just recently. Last time I was here, it was sunny at this time of night, so living up here in the north in the Netherlands, huh? I like it. So my name is Socrates, and recently I started doing a vlog on YouTube that I call Socrates Explains Everything. And the reason I named it that is that, well, my name is Socrates, and I like to explain things. So it's about that level of explanation you should expect from my stuff for the most part, and I'll give an example or so, and I'm going to swing back, and at some point I'm going to open it up to questions, and you never know, maybe Amat will have something for me there. But what I started it with was, I was annoyed that the argument about creationism versus evolution was still going on. I felt it was a waste of time, and I decided I could cure it for the world, and so I made a video. And basically it goes like this. God created evolution. I thought it explained it pretty simply, you know what I mean? Obviously up here in the north it's a little less, popular, but nonetheless, that's essentially what I'm doing here, so. And praise Jesus. So at the end of this thing, I'm going to open it up and we'll see what we get. You never know, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's live performance, it's an open shot. It'll be your opportunity to become famous, or if you screw it up, infamous. And if you don't know the difference between these two words, to be famous is to be well known for a good reason, and to be infamous is to be well known for a bad reason. Like your Austrians, for example. Now, when I was growing up in the 80s, the easiest way to remember this is that Bill Cosby was famous. And now he's infamous. So at the end, again, try to think of a question, because at some point it's going to come back, and then we'll just have a feedback to listen to as opposed to silence. So anyway, we'll start with some comedy bits now. That's why I have this thing here. So if you're thinking, Socrates, I've heard of this guy. Unfortunately, no, you think another dude. And if you don't know Socrates 1 or Socrates Prime, to use his Transformers name, he got himself in trouble with the ancient Greeks when he started complaining about the new system of government they were trying out, and they call it democracy. And see, he was worried that if the people did not understand what issues that they were voting on, that it could be possible to manipulate them into voting for something stupid. Yeah, it's laughable now. But at the time, it was a real worry, And in fact, they even had a word for it. They called it the Brexitus of Trumpus. See, you can learn from history, but you really got to read the books. So, now, like I said, I'm coming down from Amsterdam. This is one of my favorite times of year. Christmas is coming up. Y'all Christmas fans? You like this time of year? Yeah. I like walking around the red light district during Christmas, Because I feel like Santa Claus, Everywhere I look, just ho, ho, ho. But it's all very regulated, you know what I mean? You have to have a license to sell blowjobs in Amsterdam. There's no written test, it's just an oral exam. But did y'all have a good summer this year? Did you have a summer up here? Is there summer in Groningen? Do you have it? No? I got to go to Athens this year for saw my family and such. It's a really nice thing, Just trying to get, my summer body, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get in shape. I grant you, I'm in A shape. I thought I could get in better shape, A friend of mine told me I should take a hot yoga class. Have you done that? So, I'd never done it before I signed up. The instructor, she took one look at me, told me I did not qualify. Painful to hear. Added to my stress. And that's the whole problem with life is so stressful nowadays. You know what I'm saying? A friend of mine, he's 24 years old. He just had his first burnout at work. 24 years old, right? The problem is you have to maintain a proper work-life balance. And the most important rule is you never take your work home with you. And this applies doubly if you're a kindergarten teacher. Okay, fool me once. Never know what they're, yeah. So I'm an anti-capitalist. You know, I really don't believe in capitalism at all, but I do trade the stock market. And yeah, and it's difficult, you know, with your beliefs and etc. But it's the worst for a friend of mine because he's actually a flat earther, but he's also a globalist. Yeah, it's not easy, you know. It's just not easy for him, you know. So I've been working on my morality. I've been trying to become a better person in a lot of ways, you know. A little while ago, I joined the Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, I thought it would open doors for me. Is this a meeting is this a big Jehovah's place? Sorry if I am, you know. The cool thing was I actually got to meet Jesus, you know. You know, oddly enough, he pronounces it Jesus. Really nice guy, though. But I was actually baptized Greek Orthodox as a baby. Isn't a real big deal. They put me in a bowl, priest poured olive oil over me. Honestly, I could have been a salad. You know, but it's a thing, you know. I mean, I'm not really religious for the most part, you know. I mean, unless the guy's got a gun. I can be flexible. In fact, I think it was Jesus who first said, "Not in the face!" It's not really a Jehovah's Witness crowd kind of a joke, but you know, it's on the paper. So my father's Greek. That's where I got my half the Greek from. Comes from my dad. And I don't know if you know it. You know, Greeks, especially Greek fathers, they like to explain any kind of word like pyrotechnic or democracy. They like to explain that this is a Greek word, but they never explain anything about it. You know, like democracy is demo, to try out, and krisi is the Greek word for wine, because democracy is best done drunk. And some of my favorite sayings, I don't know if you have Dutch people, there's like no Dutchies in the room, just one or two of you. You can tell them if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right in any of these things. My favorite Dutch saying is, "Nu de aap come out the mouth." See, it's a good one, right? Which literally translates to, "Now the monkey comes out the sleeve." Right? It does. Basically, it means that it's showing your true colors. And I like that as an explanation because I'm explaining colloquially with another colloquialism. Because showing your true colors is like a pirate thing when you're raising the right flag, you know. It's crazy. Just try to explain these. You end up going down the rabbit hole, is my point. Thank you. Appreciate that. Land with one person, that's my goal. But I like the saying, you know, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Oddly enough, this has nothing to do with hand jobs or pussy. But basically it means what you have is better than what you might have, you know? Or as a Brexiteer will tell you, bullshit! There could be 6 birds in that bush. There could be a pony. I can pet it and call him Boris. If you're gonna say it, you gotta yell it loud, because I got the microphone. But I like other things like, you know, the idea behind these things is basically when life gives you lemons, you should make lemonade, assuming you have sugar in a pitcher of water. You know, I'm a Greek, so I say when life gives you lemons, you make fish. Because nothing goes better on fish than lemons, in my opinion. Of course, now if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. But if you teach that man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Because charity is not as useful as education. Now I say, if you teach a Greek man to fish, he'll be glad when life gives him lemons. Because of all the fish. I like that joke. Let's see what we got down here. So I tried that Russian app, you know, that Russian face app that steals your data, makes you look older. Now I can't turn it off. But so there's a lot of misconceptions about relationships. I think the worst misconception you can make while in a relationship is when you accidentally get your girlfriend's best friend pregnant. Right? This is a serious misconception. Thank you very much. Thank you. And it's not easy to talk your way out of too, man. So obviously I'm in the middle of a dry patch now. Been alone for a little bit after that. It's getting annoying. You know, I'm worried. Actually, I'm headed into a drought. I'm on the edge of a sexual desert. You know. It's a scary thought to think that maybe my sexuality, it may have set sail without me. And now I'm headed out all alone, out across the celibate sea. People laughing at my pain up here. So since this is a big religious crowd, I'm going to keep going with my religious type jokes here. Yeah, everyone gets so excited, the religious people, you know, they're all excited about the second coming of Christ. I don't get that. I came twice yesterday. Nobody threw me a party. Nobody even helped. I had to do it myself. I mentioned God a few times though. Anybody get close to a question there? How are we doing on time now? Are we anywhere near? Oh, hell, I got tons of time. Oh, no, thank you very much. Oh, see what you did. Do you see what you did? With non-support like that. Now, do you want me to continue? I mean, if you're supportive, we'll be fine. Hey, thank you. If I can quote the other comics, get the fuck out. So, I'm going to come out against homosexuality now. How's that? All right? We'll go for angles. It's not that I'm homophobic, okay? It's just that as a Greek, I feel it's cultural appropriation. There's just certain lines you just don't cross, is all I'm saying, you know? But, so I haven't given up. I'm still, you know, chasing after the women. They run away, but I'm still chasing after them. Like the other day, I was walking through a park. I saw these two really hot chicks, and they were making out on a bench. So I walked over to them. I said, hey, hashtag me too. It did not work. So I've been really missing my ex-girlfriend. She used to make these really sexy noises when we make love. You know, like sighing or swiping right. Or sometimes snoring. It's so sexy. See, that's the one I can actually explain. See, he told me that she was into cosplay. I did not know that meant costume play. I thought she meant Cosby play. One thing led to another. Getting a groan from the Groninger crowd, yeah. So let's see, we got more crap in here. That's right, yeah. So I am a minimalist now, you know. Well, you know, since the divorce. Yeah, pretty much all my relationships, they all ended the same way. You know, like that French play. You know the one I mean? Les Miserables. But a buddy of mine, he just bought himself a dog. The guy's a nihilist, right? And yet he names his dog Karma. But it's a male dog. So when people find out the dog's name, invariably they'll say, hey, Karma's a bitch. He says, nah, man, Karma's just a dog. You make your own reality. So we're getting towards the time we're going to get a question. I feel there's a question in this crowd. It's not about the microphone. Is there anyone, Amat, have you got a question? You knew it was coming back to you, man.
Do you have kids?
Do I have kids? Well, that's simple. Well, you know, I thought it was a simple question, you know. I don't have children who currently call me Papa. And as far as I know, I don't have kids. But in the end, you know, are we close to the end of this thing? I've got another 2 minutes here, so I'm not going to wrap it all. I was going to say, because you're all my children. But, Dad, exactly. Appreciate that. You know, but I'm open to it, though. If you want to try, Mister. What's that? I can do a dad joke, but you know, they're mostly Cosby kind of dad. You know. I was raised in the 80s. You know, he was the atypical dad at the time. Now what am I supposed to do? Vote Trump? It's not easy for me up here. You know what I'm saying? But so I'll give you one I was thinking of. Actually, I was going to do recently. I was going to do today, but it's too damn dark outside. Which is, why do we snore? Anybody don't like snorers, or anyone who complains about men snore? You're all too young to deal with a guy who snores. You know. Do you? I snore. You snore? You see, snoring is actually an act of love. You see, we were evolved out there on the plains, you know, when there was only two kinds of creatures out there. Those who wanted to avoid us and those who wanted to eat us. And as you get slightly older, you risk yourselves for your loved ones, attracting the ones that want to kill us and scaring away the ones that are trying to avoid us. It's a giving act. So the next time she complains about you snoring or whatnot, tell her, no, I'm trying to save your life. And if it really bothers you, you probably shouldn't be too close to me because this is where the lions are going to come. So, you know, go sleep out there on the couch or something. Yeah. So anyway, you got one, last chance for a question? You got one? Got one? Here you go.
What if she's the one who tries to kill me?
Yeah, see, now you're getting into, okay, if she's the one who's trying to kill you, I would certainly take the hint. Would be my first bet, you know, that you're the one who should go sleep in the other room. That's what I did. My name is Socrates. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you for coming.